building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I am Alex Edmonds. People on the internet call me Supreme Rumham, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast recorded in the Indie Business Studio. Alright, so I want to talk about the waterfall theory that I have. So I'm going to explain what the waterfall theory is, how I discovered this theory, how I'm testing it, and why I'm testing it. Or not, I'm just gonna, no, I'll talk. Because I always end up talking out of order anyways. Alright, so let's get into it. What is the waterfall theory? So the origin of the waterfall theory goes back to revenue research. And one thing that I noticed when doing the podcast, when writing for revenue research and doing the podcast, I noticed that one of the episodes, how airlines generate revenue, got a significant amount of downloads compared to any other podcast episode at the time, especially back in 2020. And still, how airlines generate revenue is still a top 5 episode by downloads. So I kind of started investigating it. And of course, the SEO in my brain, and I was brand new at SEO at the time too. The SEO in my brain Googled it, how airlines generate revenue. Because I'm like, all right, this might be showing up on Google and people are, listening to it and downloading it. And maybe that's how I'm getting traffic. Or maybe YouTube. But no, that wasn't the case. I took the revenue research article and I put it on hackernoon.com. And then I linked to the podcast episode in the article. So I believe this created like a waterfall effect of, and it ranked super high. I forgot to mention that. It was like the first one when you went to how airlines generate revenue on Google. So I believe it created a waterfall effect of people reading my article, and then they would click onto the podcast episode and listen to the podcast episode. So the theory that I have is that I can do this for e-commerce specifically, and so this is not an SEO strategy, pretty much. And the way I do this with e-commerce is I put the link first. The first thing is the link, and then I do like the product description. And that way I know for sure it's optimized for SEO because the Hacker Noon article was optimized for SEO. But I don't expect a backlink. What I want are clicks. So that do follow link does not matter whether it does it or not. And then how am I going to execute this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a lot of high-ranking websites that I can generate user-generated content, basically. And that way, when people search for corgi coloring pages, there's my stuff. It's my link, but it's not to Wannadog, but it's to wannadog.com, that link, right? So people click on that, then click on my link, and then go to wannadog.com. So it creates an extra step, but that's a step that, it's another barrier to clicking and getting to Wannadog, but it's like I'm more likely to rank than just like waiting for Google to figure me out. Also, this creates more competition technically, right? But it's still like my content. Like people are looking at my stuff, and then also that might create a penalty for that content. So my idea was to like create a subreddit for wannadog.com and then just post some of the products with the links and like just the links actually in this case. And then people would search like corgi coloring pages and the subreddit would pop up. Then they'd click on the subreddit and then to my products, right? But then that might cause a penalty because it's like the same exact content word for word. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I had just thought about that. See, this is why I do the podcast, because without doing the podcast, I would have never thought of penalties, right? All right. So how am I going to execute this? Well, I'm just going to find a bunch of like high authority websites where I can generate content myself instead of like having to submit it or something like that. So for right now, I have a Linktree. Apparently that does well on Google. I have Medium. That does well on Google. I have Buy Me a Coffee. I don't know how well that does on Google, but we're trying it. And then I have created a subreddit because Reddit is really strong with Google and they just did a deal with Google, so that helps even more. But yeah, that's the theory I have, the waterfall theory. I called it the waterfall method first, but it's not very tested. So it's just a theory for now. And I don't have a lot of data anyways to support this theory. But, if I start getting a lot of clicks from Medium, Binance, Reddit, Linktree, if I all of a sudden, in like 2 or 3 months maybe, or even sooner, just start getting a bunch of clicks and they're from like Reddit, then yeah, this goes from theory to method. And I'm the first one to like discover this method. So that would mean I pioneered an e-commerce strategy, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I could be a pioneer, right? So, yeah. Other than that, yeah. So clearly, those are the problems. The benefits are you're getting the high ranking link, spot on Google, but it's not your spot technically. There are no backlinks, so that's a thing. Let me see. Actually, let's check right now because I am not entirely sure. Because I am putting a link, but I don't know if it's do follow or it's just like no follow or whatever. I did minds.com and that wasn't a do follow, but it's a backlink, a no follow link. So yeah, that's the waterfall method. Nothing. Oh, that's the other one I almost forgot. Newsletter directories. So yeah, just any directory as well. So like newsletter directories, e-commerce directories, those don't rank high enough, but they are places where I can do user-generated content. Those are more backlink strategy, but this isn't a backlink strategy or any SEO strategy. This is just like a marketing strategy that I'm using to promote Want a Dog, basically. This is just something I thought of. Okay. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.